Good morning. It's my Friday. I'm going to get into another baseball story, but this one is family. This is my family. But it's a good little story. It's take your kid to work day, um, and just because it's different because I am covering the Bend Phillies baseball team. It's a Sunday, and Sunday home games were 2 p.m., nice afternoon games. It's hot, it's July, but I have a 7, 8 year old son named Mike. And I think, you know what? He likes baseball, has a strong arm, loves to throw the ball around. Let's give him a chance to go and see a real pro baseball game, the Bend Phillies. So we do that. Um, I believe I took along a toy or two. As I told you yesterday in the Ryan Sandberg trade story, the press table was just this big white table. And on this particular day, I was the only one up there. I also served as the official scorer for the game. And so Mike, he had plenty of room to sit there and play, and he watched a lot of the game. I'll say that for a young guy. And okay, game gets over, and I still have work to do because I have to go down into the locker room and do interviews. So I think, hey, my kid's gonna kind of like this. He'll get to see behind the scenes. He'll get to go into the Bend Phillies clubhouse. The managers, assistant coaches are there, and all the players. Well, I do this after every game. So I go down in there, and Mike tags along with me, and I go in and start doing my job, which is to interview the manager. I believe the manager at the time was Jay Ward, and then start interviewing players who played a significant or somewhat significant role in that day's game. So I'm out there and I'm comfortable doing this. The one thing to remember is this isn't like the modern day press conference situation in a major sport or a college situation where you go into a press room, everyone sits around, and the team brings out players to be interviewed. Here in Denver, we saw a lot of Peyton Manning and Von Miller interviews post game under those kind of circumstances. Well, we're talking the Bend Phillies. We're talking Class A short season baseball. There's no press room. You go in there and you interview players after the game, and in that case, it means you're either interviewing players before they go in and take a shower, or you're interviewing them just after they take a shower. So guess what? Guys aren't wearing anything, or they may have a towel wrapped around their waist. So I'm in there doing my thing, asking questions. It wasn't a talent laden Bend Phillies team. This wasn't the Juan Samuel Willie Darkus championship team. It was a fair to Midland Northwest League team. And so I'm talking to guys like Chris James and Randy Day, Milo Choate, who I mentioned in an earlier blog. And I'm sitting there and, just doing my job. And so, and the ball players loved seeing Mike in there because what? They're 18, 19, maybe 20-year-old kids. Well, in the case of Randy Day and Milo Choate, they might have even been 21 years old. And they're used to having little brothers and sisters around from their family. And here they are out on the first leg of pro baseball. And guess what? Here's a 7 or 8-year-old kid in there, and they just get a kick. They sit there and they bend down and talk to Mike and everything else. And Mike kind of, hi, how are you? And, and here I am. I'm interviewing Chris James. I can remember the player just asking him questions. And all at once, I feel this tug on my shirt. And, I go, Mike, just give me a second. I'm almost done here. Tug, tug, tug on the shirt again. So I go, excuse me, Chris, I better check what this is, being, good dad, take kid to work day. And so I look down at Mike and he looks up at me and goes, all these guys are naked, Dad. And then it hits me. Oh yeah, he's 7 or 8 years old and he's only so tall, and I'll let your own mind go with those facts. So I said, yeah, okay, well, let me finish with Chris here, and then we'll leave. I'll go and introduce you to the coaches, and so I finish up with Chris, and we kind of share a laugh about Mike's predicament, and I go and go in and introduce Mike to the coaches, and then head out of the clubhouse. And as we're walking back towards the gate to go in by where the regular stands for fans are, I go, "Hey, Mike, was that a fun day for you?" He goes, "Yeah, I like the baseball, but Dad, all those guys were naked." So anyway, there's take your kid to work day. That was the only time I took him. There just weren't that many Sunday games, and some of those Sunday afternoon games were brutally hot. So, and I think maybe Mike might have been a little worried about going into the clubhouse again. So, little slice of life. That story does not show up in my One Summer Season, A Young Man's Brutal Baptism into Love and Baseball, my novel on smash words. But we're going to continue to talk baseball next week, Monday, or maybe Tuesday. We'll see how I feel on Monday. I'll do another video blog, and I will talk about something which is at least the foundation of a major scene in my novel, One Summer Season. So, all you writers who are doing this, write the hell out of it today. I am going to be doing that for the rest of you. Go watch a good baseball game, spend time with your families, enjoy the weekend, and to all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.